Hello everyone, my name is Balint and today we are inspecting the classification opportunities inside PointCloudScene, or as we call it, PCS. So the software in general is designed for vector extractions for CAD and GIS environments, but classification is also supported. We are talking about mostly semi-automatic solutions or manual solutions. PointCloudScene is not designed for automatic classifications like Clash Tools or TerraSolid or stuff like that. There is no machine learning component within, there is no automatic ground extraction and etc. So it's more like rule based, but in general the manual classification is the most commonly used tool set, and it's very good for machine learning annotations if you are aim to teach a machine learning model and you would need to classify signs, pose, noise, trees, everything. You can do this easily in PointCloudScene. So let's jump in. So in order to be able to use the classification, you should have a point cloud, which I have it here, and you need to have all points in memory. The point cloud scene has two setup for the loaded point cloud. The most common is part of the points in the memory, and the other is the all points in the memory. A classification test can be performed only if a point cloud has all points in the memory. And here, as you can see, there is a file name in a folder, and here is a small battery icon, and as you can see it's nearly empty. It means part of the points in the memory, and if it's full it means all points in the memory. Here you can see the classification toolbar, and here also in the 3D view, as you can see, both are grayed out because there is no point cloud to be classified, as there is no point cloud with all points in memory. So I will just switch to all points in memory, and then the classification toolbar now is active. Now we can start to classify. How it works. So there are in general global classification options in the class menu, where you can reclassify the whole area, reclassify based on a shape polygon area, reclassify based on a triangulated surface. If you already have a ground class, then you can reclassify based on the ground, and so there are a bunch of automatic features, but these are rule based, so it's there won't be any deeper underlying machine learning concept. Here there is a from and to selector, where you can pick from which class you would like to move and to which class you would like to perform the classification. In the from menu you can pick multiple classes. The to is always a single class. Yeah, so let's inspect for briefly the whole area classification. This is the classification filter setting window, where you can classify based on multiple parameters. Some of the tools are using this panel, so even if you classify based on the shape area, you still have a chance to fine-tune the settings, let's put it that way. So you can select the source and target classes. If there is a polygon, you can apply a buffer to it. You can use intensity filter, elevation filter, return or flight line selections if the alias file contains these informations, because that's not guaranteed. So you have a bunch of options, and if you press OK, then you can reclassify the whole cloud. For the explanation, I will not use this function. So as you see, it's an intensity colored point cloud. Let's switch here the colorizer setting to classification. The classification in this point cloud is blank. Everything is grayed out because it's everything in 0, as I recall. So if I info a point, and in the information tab I can see the classification value is 0. So that's fine. And in here you have the class filter setting, where you can check each class color and if it's turned on for 2D and 3D. In PCS you can turn on class for 2D and for 3D separately. So for example, if you have a classified cloud, you can turn off the higher elevation ranges in 2D, and you can keep every point in 3D. It's really up to the user. For example, I can turn on class 0 to 3D, and yeah, as you see, it's gone. I can turn it back on, but it will be more spectacular after we classified something. As the classification color might not be too informative in some cases, you can use this blend with intensity option, and then it's way better. Okay, so the user can use the 2D and the 3D window for classification, but the 3D window can be used only if the profile mode option is turned on. So in 2D, the user can use different options like modify by selected shape, by measured polygon, measured polyline, fence, or brush. These tools are allowing the user to just simply reclassify. Let's take an example. So here I start measured polygon. It asks for from which to which point, which class I would like to reclassify. Now I will reclassify to noise, and I just simply fence this car, press enter, and it's reclassified already to class 7. As you can see, this is a small Mercedes, and it's now reclassified. So as you can see, classifying in 2D will classify everything within the elevation range, so the ground is also classified as well. But if you would like to correct this, or in general you don't want to classify the ground as well, it's recommended to use the clip frame and load this here. Now you can have only the detail which you need. If you want, you can append a little bigger point size because it's easier to see. And here, if we turn on the profile mode and load, you can see that everything is loaded now to a plane, to this dashed line. This is the clip frame's center axis, and this axis is the plane for this profile mode. Now, if I would like to correct the ground, I can say I would like to reclassify from all class, or if I want to, I would say, okay, I would like to just reclassify the low point class 7 to classified, because that's where we are coming from. And I use the brush tool here. The brush tool is one of the most common tools. So you can activate the track mode, and I usually recommend a 40 pixel. Now, as you can see, I have a brush. I hope it looks nice. Or if the video does not display this properly, we have a circle with the cursor, and I can start drawing like I would be in Microsoft Paint. And as I drag the line, the part which I dragged will reclassify. So as you can see, I just like I would repaint something in Paint. I just drag the line, drag my mouse, and it's gone. It's already gone back to class 0. And if I come back to 3D, I can cross-check, and you can see that most of the points are reclassified. If you really want to be accurate, then these points can be also reclassified. I rotate the clip frame. Where are these points? Since I click on the right side, so I can brush, and I brush this side again, and yeah, it's gone. Okay, and as you can see, the classification for this car is done. So now it's more spectacular. If I would like to turn off class 7 in 3D view, I just uncheck it, and as you can see, it's gone from the 3D view, but in the 2D view it's still there. It's not the removal of the points, it's just hiding the unchecked classes from the view, because this can be very helpful. So yeah, and if you want, you can, there are colors here, and if you double click to the color, you can change the color of the of the class like to blue. I press apply and it turns to blue. Okay, let's pick some other noise to demonstrate other tools. So here are a few people. Yeah, people with shopping carts. I go back to profile mode. So among brush, the other common tool is the inside polygon in 3D view. This can be used only if we are in profile mode. This function has three operational modes. There is filter above, filter below, or filter by polygon. Filter by polygon is the most common. In that way I can just draw a polygon, don't have to close it, press enter, and nothing happened because I used the wrong setting. So now I come here to the from panel, I say all on, and I would like to reclassify this to class 7. Now I have a proper setting and I can just draw a polygon. The start and end points will be connected automatically. As you can see, it's turned to blue. This is the filter by polygon. You can use filter above. In this case, you click one point, there will be a support line for the vertical axis, and you can click anywhere else, and everything above the line and between the two selected points will be reclassified. This can be used inverse, so there is a filter below, and for example I can say I would like to reclassify to class 2 ground. Please note that these names which are presented in PointCloudScene are specific for the software. This is the most commonly used naming convention. So usually class 2 is ground, class 7 is noise or low points. So this is just common, but you can rename it and other softwares might use different. The LAS file itself contains only the class number, so it's not written in the LAS file. So I say ground. I can say okay, I have a point here, and I click to here, and voila, everything under the line between the first and second vertex is reclassified as ground. And as you can see, it's visible in 2D view as well. So now I filtered some noise and I have some ground. Yeah, if you wish, you can undo classification. Undo classification is not same as undo vector. As you can see in the shape toolbar, the undo is grayed out because there is no vector in this current project, but you can undo this classification. Please note that there is a buffer limit in the software, and if it gets full as you classify, the undo list will clear, which means that you will not be able to undo after a certain points. So for example, you are classifying for 1 hour and something like that, then you won't be able to undo. Here there is an undo more button where you can see that what happened, from which class to which class classification happened, and you can see that was the buffer size available. And if it gets full, the software will ask the user that please, if you would like to wish to keep the undo list, then you need to assign more buffer memory, or if you not, then the list will be cleared. So yeah, please keep that in mind. The classification itself, in some tools, it's automatically saved, but if not, or it's generally recommended to use the save option. So right click in the alias file and press save, and it will save. If it's up to date, the software will warn the user that this is an up to date cloud, but we always recommend to use the save. If there are vectors and the save warning appears, then still when you save the vectors, the software will prompt the alias file as well. Please note that, as mentioned in the beginning, that you need all points in memory in order to be able to use classification. Please note that you cannot load more gigabyte of LAS files with all points in memory than physical RAM installed in your PC. For example, if you have 16 gigabyte of RAM in the PC physically, you cannot load more than 16 gigabyte of LAS with all points in memory. Of course, generally speaking, it's not recommended to get close to the limit as well, because the Windows system will use some memory as well, so it would easily overload the PC. But yeah, please keep that in mind. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's it. Maybe we can try something else. So representing that, we can use vectors. So here I will create a polygon shape, and I will show you how it works. So pre-classify by shape works, I think it's straightforward. I just simply pick a small part of this road painting, and now I have a small polygon, and I can say in the class menu that I would like to reclassify in the shape area. And for this example I will use class 14, it doesn't really matter at this moment, and I say okay, and as you can see, the shape area is reclassified. Of course, if there would be noise above, like if I would extract a vector like this, everything within the polygon, independently from their elevation, will be reclassified. However, if I load this, you can inspect that, okay, the ground level here is, I get an info 157.74 roughly. Then I know, okay, we can do this to use elevation filter. As mentioned, you can use different elevation filters. Okay, and I would say shape area, and I can say elevation range, and between now I'm using the polygon area, but still I'm using an elevation filter, which can help me to limit the classification in general. Oh, I picked the wrong one. Maybe I picked the wrong one. Oh yeah. Yeah, I picked the wrong number. Numbers, yeah. So now, and as you can see in the 2D view, only the shape area and the elevation range is taken into place. So it's possible to semi-automatically reclassify stuff using PointCloudScene, but it's not automatic. And in many cases, this is very useful, that you are able to adjust the classification like this. Okay. Yeah. There is one more example which I would like to present. So I will create points in the surface just to represent how you can generate a ground surface or ground classification. So PointCloudScene is capable of building surface based on point clouds or based on triangulated surface. Now I will place a few points. Not too many, just a few. Okay. Before I start, I reclassify everything to class 0. I could use the whole area or something, but I would just simply turn on points because it's bothering, and from all class I just simply reclassify to 0, and I say everything above. Okay, let's take some time. It checks everything. Oh yeah, class filter settings is turned on. You see, the elevation range is turned on, but I don't need it, so I press OK, and now everything is reclassified back to 0. Okay, nice. So I used a few points, and now I create a triangulated surface. These points are on the surface, but if I want to be exactly sure, I can drape them with 5 cm. So every point is in the surface now. I can generate a triangulated surface based on these points. Rounding, or say start. It's just a small triangulated surface. Not too much, but that's it. Okay. I don't even need the points anymore. So it's just really an example. Now I can say, okay, I would like to use this thin surface to reclassify above thin. And I can say, okay, I would like to use this thin from all class to ground for the whole area. I can use a measured polygon if I want to. And I can say, okay, I would like to reclassify plus minus 10 centimeter. Okay, the software will analyze the thin and will reclassify plus minus 10 centimeter. And as you can see, it's reclassified a lot of points. In 2D you can see now I wrote it in 3D because the 3D view does not refresh. And as you can see, above the triangulated surface 10 centimeter up and down, everything is reclassified to ground. So for example, if you have a vector drawing which is accurate in 3D and you can build a surface, or you already have a surface from some other source, you are able to use this surface to reclassify. Also, it's possible to export a lattice from the point cloud, like export 50 by 50 or 50 centimeter by 50 centimeter or 1 meter by 1 meter grid from the point cloud, build triangulated surface based on this lattice and reclassify it. It does not require vectors as well, but still there are other ways how you can, there are a bunch of ways how you can obtain a thin surface, and then you can use this to reclassify a ground. So just to prove that we are 10 centimeter up and down, I take a slice, and as you can see it's 10 centimeter roughly, but I can measure of course from here to there. Yeah, it's roughly 10 centimeter. In profile mode you won't be able to see the thin, but I can turn off. And yeah, here you can see that it's roughly 10 centimeters. So yeah, that's the way how you can use surfaces to reclassify point cloud. But of course the user can have any use case. For example, you can say, okay, I would like to reclassify traffic signs. Okay, I just load this to 3D and I say, okay, from all class to whatever class 17, and use the polygon tool and say, okay, I would like to reclassify this sign. Of course, I know that I will make some mistakes here, but this will highlight a very important thing. Always cross-check the classification, and for this websites of the clip frame tool is very handy, because then you can check from the other perspective and you can see, of course I reclassified bush parts as well. So I just simply reclassify the noise which we are putting here, like this and this. Or if I want to, I can use the brush tool to fine tune this. And if I go back to 3D, I can see that I have a nice tool table. I see there could be some fine tune. Of course, if I want to, I can pick any direction with the clip frame, so I can even further fine tune it. It really depends on what's the purpose. For example, I can use the brush tool to even further adjust the pole. I can rotate the clip frame to further adjust. So there are endless possibilities in terms of manual classification, and this is really handy. According to my understanding, it's a really handy tool to teach to annotate data, to teach a machine learning engine, because it's usually much more complicated to annotate in 3D, and in PCS that's really convenient. Yeah, it's already done. And if you can see, we have two nice signs pre-classified. So basically, this is the classification toolkit. There are way more possible use cases. Please feel free to check out our Wikipedia page where we present even more tools. You can read all of our tools description in our Wikipedia page, and there is a classification manual and semi-automatic guide as well. So thank you for watching. I hope you find this video informative, and I hope you will try PCS and find the effectivity which lies within. Thank you for watching.